Have you ever noticed that the most sensitive, compassionate, and emotionally intelligent people are often the hardest to find on social media? While the world rushes to be seen, they quietly disappear into the shadows. But why? What do they know that others don't? The truth may surprise you. Empaths aren't hiding because they're insecure. They're hiding because they've discovered something powerful about attention, energy, and the human soul. In today's video, you'll uncover the deep psychological reason empaths avoid the spotlight, and why their silence may be the greatest strength they possess. One of the most misunderstood traits of an empath is their tendency to keep significant parts of their life hidden from public view. In an age where visibility is often treated as proof of existence, the empath moves in the opposite direction. They do not feel an urgent need to display every achievement, every emotion, or every personal experience. This is not because they have nothing to share. In fact, empaths often experience life with extraordinary depth. Their inner world is rich with observations, emotions, insights, and reflections that many people never take the time to explore. Yet they choose to keep much of it private. The reason lies in how they perceive the value of their inner world. To an empath, thoughts and emotions are not objects to be displayed for approval. They are living experiences that deserve respect and understanding. When something meaningful happens in their life, their first instinct is not to reach for a camera or compose a post. Their first instinct is to feel it completely. They want to absorb the lesson, understand the emotion, and connect with the deeper meaning before presenting it to anyone else. Many people use social media as a way of confirming their identity. They post because they want reassurance that their experiences matter. They seek validation through reactions, comments, and engagement. The empath often finds this process uncomfortable. Deep down, they understand that external validation can never replace genuine self-understanding. If their happiness depends on how others respond to their life, then their emotional state becomes vulnerable to forces they cannot control. Because of this awareness, empaths develop a different relationship with privacy. Privacy is not secrecy, it is protection. Just as a gardener protects a young plant while it is still growing, the empath protects certain thoughts, dreams, and emotions until they have fully developed. They know that exposing something too early can invite misunderstanding, criticism, or unnecessary influence from people who do not share the same perspective. Empaths are also highly aware of how energy affects them. When they share something personal, they do not only receive information from others, they absorb emotional reactions as well. Every opinion carries emotional weight. Every judgment leaves an impression. Even positive attention can become overwhelming when it comes in large amounts. As a result, they become selective about what they reveal and who they reveal it to. There is another layer to this behavior. Empaths often understand that not everyone deserves access to their deepest self. They have learned through experience that openness without discernment can lead to disappointment. Some people listen only to judge. Others listen only to compare. Some seek information not to understand, but to gain advantage. The empath recognizes these patterns and becomes cautious about where they place their trust. For this reason, they may share openly with a small circle of people while appearing almost invisible to the wider world. Those closest to them often know a version of them that social media never sees. Their most profound thoughts, their biggest dreams, and their deepest struggles remain within trusted relationships rather than public platforms. They are not hiding because they are ashamed. They are protecting what is sacred because they understand that the most valuable parts of a person are often the least visible. One of the reasons empaths often avoid excessive exposure on social media is their unique sensitivity to emotional energy. While most people see social media as a collection of posts, comments, photos, and videos, empaths experience something deeper. They are constantly picking up on emotional signals hidden beneath the surface. What appears to be a simple interaction to others can feel much more complex to them. They notice tension behind words, insecurity behind confidence, loneliness behind popularity, and frustration hidden behind seemingly harmless comments. This heightened awareness can make social media an emotionally exhausting environment. Every day, millions of people express opinions, display emotions, seek attention, compete for recognition, and project their personal struggles onto others. An empath unconsciously absorbs much of this atmosphere. Even when they are not actively engaging, they can feel the emotional intensity surrounding them. After spending time online, they may feel drained without fully understanding why. Unlike individuals who thrive on constant interaction and attention, empaths are deeply affected by emotional overstimulation. Social media platforms are designed to capture attention through endless streams of content, emotional reactions, and rapid communication. For an empath, this creates a flood of emotional information. They are not simply processing facts, they are processing feelings. Every celebration, argument, complaint, criticism, and display of suffering carries emotional weight that accumulates over time. As a result, many empaths become highly selective about their online presence. They begin to recognize that visibility often attracts more than just support. It attracts projections. The moment a person becomes visible, people start forming assumptions about who they are. Some may admire them, others may envy them, and some may criticize them without knowing anything about their actual character. Empaths are particularly sensitive to these projections because they can often sense the emotions driving them. What makes this even more challenging is that empaths naturally care about people. They do not easily dismiss emotional signals. If they sense pain in someone's words, they feel compelled to understand it. If they encounter hostility, they instinctively search for the hurt that may be causing it. While this compassion is one of their greatest strengths, it can also become a burden in environments where emotional noise is constant and unavoidable. Over time, many empaths realize that not every emotion they encounter belongs to them. They learn that constantly absorbing the moods and reactions of others can weaken their connection to their own inner voice. The more attention they give to external emotional currents, the harder it becomes to hear their own thoughts and feelings clearly. This realization often changes the way they use social media. Instead of sharing every detail of their lives, they begin creating emotional boundaries. They limit what they post, reduce unnecessary interactions, and become more intentional about the content they consume. They understand that protecting their mental and emotional space is not selfish. It is necessary. Just as a person protects their physical health from harmful environments, the empath learns to protect their emotional health from overwhelming influences. This is why many empaths appear quiet online. Their silence is often a conscious response to emotional overload rather than a lack of confidence. They have learned that peace of mind is more valuable than constant visibility. By stepping back from the endless exchange of emotional energy, they preserve their ability to remain centered, balanced, and connected to their authentic self. One of the most significant differences between empaths and many people in today's digital culture is the way they define connection. For much of the online world, connection is often measured by numbers. It is measured through followers, likes, shares, comments, and views. The larger the audience, the more connected a person is assumed to be. Yet empaths often see things differently. They understand that visibility and connection are not the same thing. A person can be seen by millions and still feel completely alone. A person can receive endless attention and still never feel truly understood. Because of this awareness, empaths naturally seek depth rather than reach. They are less interested in how many people know their name and more interested in whether someone genuinely understands their heart. They value quality over quantity in nearly every relationship they build. While others may chase public recognition, empaths often invest their energy into a small number of meaningful connections that provide trust, honesty, and emotional authenticity. This preference influences how they behave on social media. Many people feel encouraged to share more, because each post brings the possibility of attention and approval. Empaths, however, are often uncomfortable with interactions that feel superficial. They are not satisfied by brief exchanges that never move beyond appearances. They long for conversations that reveal truth, vulnerability, and genuine human experience. When online interactions fail to provide this depth, they may lose interest in participating altogether. An empath often notices how much effort people spend creating idealized versions of themselves. Social media frequently rewards carefully edited images, polished success stories, and moments designed to attract admiration. While there is nothing inherently wrong with presenting oneself positively, empaths can sense when authenticity is being replaced by performance. They recognize the difference between expressing oneself and constructing a persona. This awareness makes them cautious about becoming trapped in a cycle where personal worth is measured by public reaction. For an empath, being known is more important than being noticed. They would rather sit with one person who truly listens than receive attention from hundreds who only see a surface-level image. They often find greater fulfillment in private conversations than in public displays. A heartfelt discussion, a meaningful exchange of ideas, or a sincere moment of understanding can leave a far deeper impression on them than widespread online recognition ever could. This desire for authenticity also shapes the way they communicate. Empaths tend to share less frequently, but when they do share, they prefer it to have meaning. They are not interested in speaking simply to remain visible. They want their words to reflect something real. As a result, they may spend more time listening, observing, and reflecting than posting. To outsiders, this behavior can appear distant or withdrawn, but in reality it reflects a different set of priorities. Empaths understand that genuine relationships are built slowly. Trust cannot be rushed. Understanding cannot be manufactured. Real connection requires patience, openness, and emotional presence. These qualities are difficult to cultivate in environments that encourage constant speed and endless distraction. Therefore, many empaths choose to invest their energy where authentic connection is most likely to grow. Their quieter presence online is not a sign that they dislike people. In many cases, it is because they value people so deeply that they refuse to reduce relationships to numbers, impressions, or fleeting moments of attention. They seek something more enduring, something more human, and something that cannot be measured by algorithms or public approval. In a world that constantly rewards visibility, silence is often misunderstood. People assume that if someone is not actively promoting themselves, they must be insecure, disconnected, or lacking confidence. Yet for many empaths, silence is not a weakness at all. It is a deliberate choice. It is a way of preserving their energy, maintaining their authenticity, and strengthening their connection to who they truly are. What others interpret as absence is often a period of inner growth that remains invisible to the outside world. Empaths eventually discover that attention comes with a cost. Every time a person places themselves in front of an audience, they invite reactions, expectations, opinions, and judgments. Some of these responses may be positive, while others may be negative. But regardless of their nature, they all demand emotional energy. Because empaths are naturally sensitive to emotional currents, they feel these demands more intensely than most people. Over time, many of them realize that constantly seeking attention creates a cycle that pulls them away from their center. As a result, they begin choosing silence over unnecessary exposure. Instead of investing energy into maintaining an image, they invest it into understanding themselves. They spend time reflecting on their experiences, examining their emotions, and exploring their inner motivations. While others may focus on how they appear, the empath focuses on who they are becoming. This shift creates a foundation of self-awareness that cannot be built through external validation. One of the most powerful things that happens during periods of silence is the development of inner clarity. When a person is constantly surrounded by opinions, trends, and expectations, it becomes difficult to hear their own voice. The noise of the outside world can easily drown out personal intuition. Empaths recognize this danger. They understand that silence creates space. It allows them to separate their own feelings from the emotions they absorb from others. It gives them the opportunity to listen to themselves without interference. This process often leads to a stronger sense of identity. Many people unconsciously shape themselves according to what receives approval from others. They adapt their opinions, behaviors, and even their personalities to fit social expectations. Empaths, however, become aware of this tendency and gradually move away from it. By spending time in silence, they learn who they are beneath social roles and public perceptions. They begin making decisions based on personal truth rather than external pressure. Silence also teaches emotional independence. The less an empath relies on attention for reassurance, the stronger they become internally. Their confidence no longer depends on how many people agree with them, praise them, or recognize them. Instead, it comes from a quiet certainty that develops through self-knowledge. This type of confidence is stable because it is rooted in something deeper than public approval. Many of history's most profound personal transformations have occurred away from the spotlight. Growth often happens in private moments that nobody witnesses. Empaths understand this instinctively. They know that true development is rarely dramatic or visible. It unfolds gradually through reflection, patience, and honest self-examination. This is why many empaths appear quieter than others on social media and in public spaces. Their energy is directed inward rather than outward. While the world celebrates those who are constantly seen, the empath discovers a different kind of power. It is the power that comes from knowing oneself deeply, remaining authentic in the face of pressure, and finding peace without needing constant recognition from others. So, if you've ever wondered why many empaths seem absent from social media, the answer is deeper than simple privacy. They protect their inner world because they value it. They step back from emotional noise because they feel it intensely. They seek genuine connection instead of public recognition, and they discover strength in silence rather than attention. In a culture that often equates visibility with importance, empaths remind us of a different truth. Not everything valuable needs to be seen. Some of the deepest growth happens in private. Some of the strongest people move quietly. And some of the most authentic souls choose depth over display. The next time you encounter someone who shares very little online, do not assume they have nothing to say. They may simply understand that true power comes not from being noticed by everyone, but from remaining connected to who they truly are. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope this discussion helped you better understand the hidden psychology of empaths and why many of them choose privacy, authenticity, and inner growth over constant visibility. If you found value in these insights, take a moment to reflect on how much of your life is shaped by external validation and how much is guided by your true self. Remember, the deepest transformations often happen in silence, far away from public attention. Protect your energy, honor your inner world, and never underestimate the power of self-awareness. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more psychology-based insights and personal growth content. Until next time, take care of yourself. Trust your journey and keep exploring the depths of your own mind. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.